2018 in the world of professional wrestling was one of the greatest years of all time. History was made, championships were won, a lot of your favorites turned face or heel. But more importantly, what will be your match of the year? Who will be your superstars of the year? Who will be your tag team of the year? Breakout star of the year? Pay-per-view of the year? All those questions will be answered right now as we welcome you to this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, our 2018 Wrestling Forum Awards show. Hello, friends. I am your host, Anthony Floyo, joined as always by the Twisted Angel, D.D. Woodson, waiting on Michael Bullock and Michael Fletcher to join us. They'll probably be late coming in, and if that's the case, we'll catch them up on what they missed when they come in. So, without any further ado, this is a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, our 2018 awards, and one of my favorite shows of the year. I'm so excited for this show because, you know, we get to talk about our favorite moments of the year and who we felt was the best of the best in 2018. Most of the awards were easy, others not so much. But nonetheless, let's dive right on in. And we're going to kick it off with our first category of the night, Match of the Year. This is a no-brainer for me. My match of the year for 2018, very simple. It comes to us from New Japan Pro Wrestling, their Dominion event. Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, 2 out of 3 falls, no time limit for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Kenny Omega won the match in a whopping 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 50 seconds. Not only is this the match of the year, this is honestly also, in my opinion, the greatest match I ever saw. I didn't see it live. I did see it on Access Television because, you know, they show the New Japan shows on Friday nights. And I remember back in the summer, back in July, they had this very special marathon of New Japan shows leading into a very special G1 show that they were doing in San Francisco. And they showed the Omega and Okada epic match from the Dominion event back in June. And what an event it was. I mean, there was some other great matches on the card, but for me, I mean, that was hands down not just the match of the year. Dominion 6.9 in the Osaka-jo Hall. Unbelievable. If any of you haven't seen it, you got to go out of your way to see it. I mean, it was a no time limit, 2 out of 3 falls match. I mean, just the action throughout the match. I mean, you hear Derek Ferrera always talk about how great New Japan Pro Wrestling is and how much better it is than the WWE, and I can certainly give him that. But this is the match that, you know, really did it for me. I mean, this is the match that, you know, set new standards of excellence in professional wrestling. And I, you know, sitting back and watching it back in the summer, that Saturday afternoon, I mean, I was just blown away by how great that match really was. You want to talk about 5-star classic? I don't think 5 stars is even enough. It's more like a 10-star classic, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I mean, it was 5 stars times 2. Chock full of the finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see. And this is a match that you really need to go out of your way to see if you haven't yet. Or if you just want to watch it again, knock yourself out. That's all there is to say on that. So, my match of the year, an absolute no-brainer. Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, 2 out of 3 falls, no time limit, Dominion 6.9. Kenny Omega realizing his dream, finally becoming the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And, you know, just amazing. So, I don't know what else there is for me to say on that. So, That's my match of the year. D.D. Woodson, do you agree? Do you have something different? What?
Well, for me, this is a little harder because I don't see a lot of the other wrestling programs. I usually just see mainly WWE, so I kind of have to go off of just WWE right now. So
that's okay.
For me, I guess I'd have to say it was one of the Johnny Wrestling and Ciampa matches from the pay-per-view, because they've had some pretty epic ones in the last few pay-per-views where they faced each other. But I think that last one that they had was pretty iconic. So I guess that would be the one I'd have to go with. So.
All right.
I mean, they took each other to the limits and even further than that. So,
do you have a Gargano Ciampa match in particular, or?
I'm thinking it's the last NXT takeover that they fought against each other. I can't think of the name of it. So,
I believe that was in Brooklyn.
I think so. I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, I think it was Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn. They had that last man standing match for the NXT Championship.
And that was pretty iconic. I think we rated that one almost a 5-star, if not a 5-star. So yeah, I mean that was probably out of what I've seen. I think this year, I think that one would have to be the tops for at least a WWE event. Because like I said, that's pretty much what I have to go off of. So.
Yeah,
I think Tiger here would agree with me because I think he actually watched that one with us.
Okay, fair enough. So let's move on to our next category, which is the male superstar of the year. So, D.D. Woodson, who was your male superstar of the year?
Now that's not easy to pick.
No, it is not.
Oh boy. Let's see. I'm probably not going to eat all. Boy. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Why don't you go ahead and take it and give me a couple more minutes to think on this?
Okay, that's definitely fair enough.
Thank you.
So, yeah, like I said, most of these are easy. Others not so much. But if I'm going to be quite honest with you, when it comes to the male superstar of the year, I mean, there are so many great choices. I mean, you could talk about, the phenomenal AJ Styles. You could talk about Seth Rollins. You could talk about maybe the new Daniel Bryan. You could talk about Kenny Omega. I mean, anybody from New Japan, anybody from Ring of Honor, the whole 9 yards. But if I'm going to if I was going to pick a male superstar of the year, it's very tough. I mean, you could also go with Johnny Gargano as well. I mean, Gargano had a very great year as well. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But for me, it's a toss-up. I mean, it's a toss-up between two. I'm torn on AJ Styles, and I'm also torn on Seth Rollins because I felt those two guys had the best years of any superstars in professional wrestling this year. I mean, not to take away from the efforts of any other performer in any other promotion, but if I had to pick between Styles and Rollins, I mean, I might have to give the slight edge to Seth Rollins because, I mean, the body of work that he put in this year, I mean, the caliber of matches he had, I mean, not taking anything away from the Phenomenal One. The Phenomenal One had a phenomenal year indeed, carrying the WWE Championship pretty much almost the entire year. That was until November the 13th when he dropped the title to the new Daniel Bryan, and we all know how that turned out. But A category that we do not have, that is not listed, the new Daniel Bryan is the winner. And I know we're all going to agree that the new Daniel Bryan was easily the comeback story of the year. There's no doubt about that. I mean, none of us thought he was ever going to come back after that emotional retirement speech that he gave that Monday Night Raw, pretty much in his hometown. I mean, you remember? I mean, that there was not a dry eye in the house on that night. I'll be honest. But new Daniel Bryan is the comeback story of the year, bar none. But as far as male superstar of the year goes, I mean, there are so many great choices. But to me, I have to go by the body of work, and I don't think anybody had a better year when it comes to body of work than Seth Rollins. I mean, so many incredible matches. I mean, go back to that gauntlet match. That gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw back in February of this year, right around the time of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. He was in there for an hour and 5 minutes. And then, you know, those great Intercontinental, and he brought prestige back to the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, a title that was once a joke. He made that thing relevant again. Made that thing fun to watch again. That great, when he won the title at WrestleMania in that great triple threat match against The Miz and Finn Balor, just amazing. And then great matches, open challenges. You know, The Miz, you know, had some good matches with him, and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, the Rollins and Ziggler rivalry was just incredible. SummerSlam, I mean, that was the match that, you know, was just unbelievable. And then, of course, now this whole thing with Dean Ambrose, just unbelievable. So, to me, when you base it on the body of work and the amount of effort that he put in all year round, all over the world, that to me is a superstar of the year. No, like I said, no disrespect to AJ Styles. You can easily make an argument for him too, but for me, I gotta, by a smidge, I gotta go with Seth Rollins based on the body of work. So for me, my male superstar of 2018 is Seth Rollins. So with all that being said, Didi Whitson, have you reached a decision yet?
I think I could agree with you on that one on Seth Rollins, because he did have to kind of carry Raw because you all didn't have a champion.
Yes.
I mean, Brock Lesnar was non-existent for most of the year, so
right,
that made Seth Rollins your top champion. So yeah, I mean, you know, after everything you said, but also thinking about that would actually topple AJ as a top, just because of the fact that Seth had to carry the whole blame show there several times, because he was the only top champion, because there wasn't a Universal Champion for months, because he was off doing whatever in the heck Brock Lesnar does on his off time. So
sitting at home counting his money.
So yeah, I'll agree with you on this one, that it's definitely Seth Rollins.
All right, so there you have it, and you made a great point as well. I mean, he did carry Monday Night Raw, and that's another reason why he has to, you know, get this honor. I mean, not just the body of work of the matches, but also what really cemented it for me was a couple of weeks ago when he called out Baron Corbin and he cut that passionate promo about how Monday Night Raw was absolutely sucking for the longest time. I mean, he was the one who catapulted. He was the one who jumped that thing, if you will.
Exactly. So, he had to be the voice for the little men in the locker room that couldn't say anything. I mean, you had, you know, Finn Balor and a few others that had confronted him in a different way, but Seth had to be the voice that actually came out and said it to him in the face, because nobody else really had the guts to actually do that. So, yeah, definitely Seth Rollins has earned that honor Because like I said, thinking about it, having that little time to think about it, and then hearing what you had to say, that pretty much cemented it. So.
All right, so we are in agreement. Seth Rollins is your 2018 male superstar of the year, and rightfully so. So with all that being said, let's move on now to the 2018 female wrestler of the year. And I know we don't even need to think about this one. This is probably going to be the easiest award of the night right here, very much so. And I know, Didi, I'll be shocked if you disagree with me on this one. I got 2 words for you. The man. Becky Lynch. That's your 2018 female superstar of the year.
Yep.
I mean, do I even have to spell it out for you?
Nope.
Look at the year she had. I mean, okay, maybe at the start of the year, maybe not so much, but the turning point was really SummerSlam. You remember at SummerSlam, it was her, Carmella, Charlotte Flair, triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We all thought for sure Becky was going to win that thing, but they ended up putting it on Charlotte. And we all know what happened. We all know the story. Becky snapped. Becky heel turned. One of the heel turns of the year. Definitely in my top 3 when it comes to heel turns of the year. I mean, went to town on Charlotte. The crowd in Brooklyn lost their minds. They were going nuts. And, that's when the whole Becky chant started. And then, the fans believed in her. I mean, it was just her effort. I mean, if you really make an argument about it, you can really make an argument that it was really right around summertime. I mean, right around the Money in the Bank pay-per-view when she came close to winning that women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The fans got behind her. She was so close so many times. She was starting to put together a series of wins, several wins in a row, and then got that opportunity. We thought it was going to be her night, but Charlotte got the Duke. She turned, and the fans just bought into it, and she became pretty much the queen of the IWC. That's all there is to say about that. And then in September at Hell in a Cell, San Antonio, she won the women's title from Charlotte Flair. And then she was set for a mega match, a dream match, if you will, against Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series. But unfortunately, that did not happen because of Nia Jax, and we all know that story. That go-home show for Monday Night Raw before the Survivor Series, when Nia Jax, face breaker, if you will, broke Becky's face, gave her a concussion, and therefore Becky had to miss the Survivor Series. But Becky and Charlotte had one of the great rivalries of this year, if not the rivalry of the year. I mean, you got to look back at Evolution, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view. Her and Charlotte Flair absolutely tore the house down with that first ever last woman standing match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That was an instant classic. Then you can make an argument for another match of the year, what we just saw 10 nights ago at the TLC pay-per-view in San Jose, when Becky and Charlotte went up against Asuka in that triple threat match, that first ever women's tables, ladders, and chairs match. Becky's reign ended there because it was Asuka who won the title because of Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey costing both Becky and Charlotte the match. That allowed the Empress to win the title. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this one. I mean, she is the most over woman in WWE right now, SmackDown Live or Raw. I mean, she, in my opinion, I'm going to be honest with you, she is my odds-on favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble next month. Charlotte Flair is right behind. I mean, no doubt about it. I got a feeling both of them are going to be in that. But I just got this feeling Becky's probably going to win that thing. But my mind could change in the next month. You don't know. But I just think Becky right now is the choice to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. And I think we're going to get that dream match with her and Ronda. And I think it will be for the Raw Women's Championship as the main event of WrestleMania 35. I got a feeling this upcoming WrestleMania, we're going to see history. And I think this is the year where we're finally going to see the women main event WrestleMania. And quite frankly, they damn sure deserve it. That's all there is to say on that. So, in what will likely be the easiest award of the night, your 2018 Female Superstar of the Year, hands down. There's no one that even comes close. The man, Becky Lynch. Edie Whitson, I know you agree with that 100%.
Yep, definitely agree with that. She was the hardest fighting this year, and she definitely started turning. Actually, she's kind of started turning around. I think a little bit before the match where Charlotte beat Carmella, because she was just starting to get back on that winning streak, and had earned that title shot, and then had Charlotte go in and just kind of swoop it out from underneath her, and that's what caused the heel turn to begin with. So, yeah, this pretty much just for most of the year has been kind of Becky's year. So, yeah, hands down, there's nobody else that could take that. So it's definitely Becky for Women of the Year.
That is exactly right, and I want to add a little more to that. I mean, in a year filled with stunning developments, no one shook up the world of professional wrestling more than Becky Lynch, who turned both WWE and the business as a whole on its head over the last 6 months by not only winning the hearts and minds of fans across the world, but doing so while standing out as the man in an industry historically dominated by men. For the longest time, she was largely marginalized by the WWE over the last 2 years, despite being a clear fan favorite. She has not only become arguably the most popular superstar in the company, she may have forced it to change its plans for the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 35. And how has she done it? Quite simply by showing a renewed confidence and a natural swagger that has been compared to everyone from Stone Cold Steve Austin to Rowdy Roddy Piper, and even her fellow countryman out of MMA and UFC, Conor McGregor. In actuality, the comparisons do not do her justice and hardly explain why she is now the man. Lynch has quite simply become the best version of herself, a take-no-prisoners badass who is defying convention by exorcising the demons created from 2 years of being kept out of the championship picture. So, easiest award of the night, without question. The man, Becky Lynch, is your 2018 Wrestling Forum Awards Female Superstar of the Year, without a doubt. All right, now let's move on to, let me see the order here. All right, Tag Team of the Year. Tag Team of the Year, I mean, you know, this now we go back to being, you know, the tough match here, the tough one here. I mean, you can make an argument for so many great ones. I mean, you can make an argument for the Usos. You can make an argument for the New Day. You can make an argument for the Bar. I mean, they're the ones who stand, of course, the Young Bucks in the WWE. The Young Bucks out of New Japan, rather. I mean, it's very tough. It really, really, really is. I mean, but if I had to pick a winner in this, I mean, you could also make an argument for the Bludgeon Brothers. I mean, the Bludgeon Brothers had a great year, you know, winning the tag titles at Mania and holding them for a while, and I knew they winning them back and everything else. But I really don't know. I mean, Edie Whitson. I mean, this is a tough one. I really don't know.
This is a tough one. Because there's on both shows, there's so many good tag teams, and I mean, even on NXT, you've had some pretty good ones as well. I guess I'd have to say one of the top ones I'd have to say would be the Usos, because they've kind of carried a lot of the time on SmackDown as the champions, and we've had some pretty epic matches with them, with New Day and the Bar, and hopefully now that we're starting the new regime, we'll get to see them maybe up against Insanity and some of these other really good teams. And then, of course, we have the shakeup coming up as well, and you have these other NXT guys that they're starting to pull up, like Heavy Machinery and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll get to see some more really good stuff coming up. But I think I'm going to have to go with the Usos on this one.
Very compelling. Very compelling. I mean, the Usos had a wonderful year, without a doubt. But my tag team of the year, I'm leaning towards NXT. I'm leaning towards the Undisputed Era. I mean, I thought they had one hell of a year. I mean, I think
they'd be another good one.
Yeah, they had they held those NXT Tag Team Championships for a very long time. I mean, they've held those things for a majority of the year. I mean,
and from what I understand, they actually won tonight against Heavy Machinery.
Okay, so I think that might cement that. I mean, they put on some really good matches as well. Those great matches they had with Mustache Mountain. We all know those great matches. I mean, over in England and at the NXT arena at Full Sail. I mean, if I had to pick a WWE Tag Team of the Year, it probably would be Usos based on the body of work. But I feel like they always win a Tag Team of the Year category. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, they are fun to watch. Absolutely, hands down. But I kind of feel like shaking things up here. I'm going to go with the Undisputed Era. I mean, because I just thought their body of work, and considering how much they dominated the tag team division in NXT, with the minor exception of that one hiccup, the one hiccup they had with Mustache Mountain over in England. But other than that, I mean, they held the tag team titles, I think, longer than anybody in WWE, really, whether it was the SmackDown or Raw tag titles. I think they held longer than anybody. So for me, I would have to say, in an effort to shake things up, I would have to say my tag team of the year would have to be the Undisputed Era by a smidge. So good old MF Michael Fletcher has joined us. Welcome, MF. Let's get you caught up here on our 2018 Wrestling Forum Awards show. We kicked things off. With the match of the year. We had differing opinions because Didi doesn't watch as much as we do. Didi Whitson went with Gargano and Ciampa from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I went with Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, the 2 out of 3 Fall Classic from Dominion. I'm sure you got to agree with me on this one, MF.
Well, I mean, when it comes to the wrestling, no doubt about it, match of the year actually goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega. That's a once-in-a-lifetime fight, guys. Even though I do agree with Didi Woodson, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa was also, like, it's right there. I could even easily make an argument for her to say that was the fight of the year. But I would go with I would agree with Anthony on this one. I'm going to go with Okada versus Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in the 2 out of 3 Fall. So, yes.
All right. Moving on, Mayo, Superstar of the Year, and we both agreed. We both agreed on Seth Rollins. Do you agree with that, or do you have somebody else?
I mean, I'm a little torn on this one because, yes, you could easily say it is the Architect, but I believe my Wrestler of the Year this year, and I'm actually going to go a little bit off the grain here, I got to give it to AJ Styles. He dominated 2018 throughout the year. was the WWE champion for practically almost the entire year, only to lose the title to Daniel Bryan. And I think just the level of dominance that AJ Styles had in 2018, I disagree with you, Anthony and Didi, and I give my superstar of the year for 2018 to the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yeah, it was torn, MF. I mean, it was definitely between Seth and AJ, no doubt about it. Those two had the best years, hands down. So, but fair enough. I don't think you even need to deliberate on this one. I mean, female superstar of the year, we all agreed Becky Lynch, and I know you're going to agree with that as well.
I'm going to go with Becky Lynch, yes. However, honorable mention, and another person who definitely deserves to be named Female Wrestler of the Year, Tessa Blanchard from Impact Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
What an unbelievable year she had. I mean, from coming up to the All In to everything she had, easily for me, the toughest decision for me was, do I give it to Becky or do I give it to Tessa? I'm giving it to Becky Lynch. I'm agreeing with you guys, but honestly, I would not have been shocked if anybody would have yelled Tessa Blanchard's name out, because she is far and away well deserving of being named the Female Wrestler of the Year, in my mind. Without a doubt, she had a phenomenal 2018. Other than Becky definitely came and exploded towards the end of the year, but Tessa was red hot. Like, once she debuted from Impact Wrestling, she also had a lot of the independent on her. But when she went into Impact, she annihilated the women's division, the Knockouts division, and she was one of the big stars. And I truly believe Tessa Blanchard, third generation star, daughter of Tully Blanchard, also related to Magnum TA. She is gonna be a bona fide superstar. Probably one of the best young women in wrestling today. But let me tell you guys, this year was Becky Lynch's year, without a doubt. She was far and away the best female wrestler in the world. Her attitude, her so-called heel turn was well received, and she is by far one of the most overed women in the world today. I
think she's the most over, hands down.
The most over right now, and truly, going into 2019, she is definitely the one to watch. Definitely in 2019, she's definitely going to be the one to watch. Already, many people are penciling her in as the odds-on favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble. I just don't see how that does not go to Becky Lynch, other than Charlotte Flair, but we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, she definitely got the cult following. She's definitely had an amazing 2018. And like I said, I think other than Becky Lynch, you gotta say Tessa Blanchard from Impact Wrestling would definitely be within the conversation. So 1A, 1B, but definitely my female wrestler of the year was none other than the man, Becky Lynch.
Amen to that, MF. I mean, you made some very good points there. And I even said it a moment ago before you came in. I said the exact same thing. Becky Lynch, to me, is my odds-on favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble next month at Chase Field. So there's no doubt about that. Although Charlotte is a very, very close in that one.
Oh, she's right there. Oh, yeah. Charlotte is definitely in the conversation. She's at least top 2, top 3 as far as favorites go.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have it come down to Becky and Charlotte at the end. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And who knows? Maybe Becky goes over, or who knows? Maybe we get one of those infamous double finishes like we saw in 1994 and in 2005 on the men's side. So because it's definitely between those two, and they want to do one of them or maybe both of them against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. So there's no doubt about it. And as far as Tessa Blanchard is concerned, MF, you're absolutely right. I mean, if Becky Lynch didn't blow us away, I could have honestly made an argument for her as well. I mean, stupid me for forgetting about the diamond of Impact Wrestling, without a doubt. And don't forget, a week from Sunday, in about 11 nights from now or so, Tessa Blanchard, Taya Valkyrie, the homecoming event, the first Sunday of the new year, title on the line, Gail Kim, the guest referee. Oh my God.
That's going to be an amazing fight. That's going to be an epic match. And also, you could easily make an argument for Taya Valkyrie to be female wrestler of the year because of what she did in Lucha Underground. She definitely deserves some consideration there. But no, 1A, 1B for me would have been top three. I would say, if I had my say on the top three, Charlotte Flair is number 3, Tessa Blanchard was number 2, and Becky Lynch is my female wrestler of the year, no doubt.
Yep, we're all in agreement on that. So now we move on, MF, to the tag team of the year. Didi Woodson gave it to the Usos. I gave it to the Undisputed Era because it was such a tough choice to call because they dominated NXT pretty much most of the entire year with the exception of Mustache Mountain at some point. But who was your tag team of the year?
I got to go with the Young Bucks from New Japan and Ring of Honor. Yeah. They absolutely dominated this year. They finally got the big belt in New Japan Pro Wrestling, winning the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship for the first time ever in their career. And not only that, but also wrestling-wise, they were so newsworthy in this entire year. Responsible for bringing All In to the wrestling world, changing the landscape as we know it. They were unbelievable this year. Yes, the Usos definitely deserve consideration. They had an unbelievable year. The Undisputed Era, they definitely, you could easily make an argument for them for having a tremendous year. No doubt about it. But for me, this is an easy choice. I'm going with the Young Bucks as my tag team of the year.
All right, fair enough. So, all right, I believe MF is all caught up now. So, let's see what's next on our list. Breakout Star of the Year. Breakout Star of the Year. I mean, MF, I'm going to start it with you here. Who was your breakout star of the year?
Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, Monday Night Raw. She absolutely just broke through the glass ceiling, coming from that MMA world, coming to the WWE, coming to professional wrestling, and took the wrestling world by storm. WrestleMania was her coming out party, one of the biggest moments in her career, and she absolutely dominated it. Then went on to win the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam, knocking off Alexa Bliss. And now here she is at the pinnacle of her career, and she has blossomed into not only an unbelievable talent, but even for many people, probably one of the best female wrestlers we've ever seen. Easily consideration for her to be female wrestler of the year. But like I said, I thought she had a tremendous 2018, and who knows what 2019 is going to look for the Rowdy one, especially with a lot of the stuff that they've been saying. So we'll just have to wait and see. But for me, 2018 breakout star of the year, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Didi Woodson, go ahead.
I could agree with that. I mean, she did, come in from MMA and, came in the middle of not only a revolution, but at the same time kind of the total chaos of Raw. Because you had just about everybody turning on everybody, and Alexa Bliss being one of the main ones, just kind of running loose everywhere, and and her first chance at the title, of course, Alexa Bliss cashing in her championship to beat not only her but Nia Jax to get that title. But at the same time, she is still, the undefeated Raw champion right now, and I can't wait to see the upcoming of her and Lynch to still see who has the better armbar. So I'll definitely have to go with Ronda in this because she's pretty much just won every match that's been thrown at her. So not much more I'm gonna say about it. Florio, cheers.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. It is the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey. I mean, MF said it best. I mean, coming from MMA, UFC, and all that, when she made her, when she showed up at the end of the Royal Rumble, I mean, we all remember, the big moment we had with that, and then of course, WrestleMania 34, the mixed tag team match, her and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Who would have thought that match would end up stealing the damn show in New Orleans? I mean, we all thought it was going to be AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, no. That mixed tag ended up being a damn near 5-star classic. It was that close. Another couple more minutes, and we would have been talking about that as a 5-star classic. Who would have thought? But no, I mean, that was an unbelievable match. I mean, twice this year at Money in the Bank and TLC, she did the impossible. She carried Nia Jax to a passable match. Not one passable match, but 2 passable matches. Money in the Bank in June, and then just 10 days ago at the TLC event. Unbelievable. I mean, credit to her for carrying, someone like Nia Jax, who's not really the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to wrestling ability, but she got 2 passable matches out of her. Who would have thunk? And then, of course, winning the title in the SummerSlam. I mean, that was a big moment as well. And she's held it since, and I think she's going to go into WrestleMania 35 as the Raw Women's Champion. I think it's going to be her against Becky Lynch, honestly, because I think Becky's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. And I hate to break your heart, MF, but I think she's gonna jump ship. I think she's going to go from SmackDown Live to Raw, because let's be honest, Raw needs a shot in the arm desperately when it comes to our women's division, even though Ronda's been wonderful. But you bring the man over to Raw. Oh. That's the shot in the arm that our women's division really, really needs. And you still got some powerhouses on SmackDown Live. So I think you'll be fine without the man, even though I know MF's going to be brokenhearted. But, it is what it is. So, but then again, maybe Charlotte could get it. Maybe we get a triple threat. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll find out soon enough. But yes, it is the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey. You can also make I could also make an argument for a couple of guys from 205 Live, Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali now on SmackDown Live, and what a steal for MF and the Blue Brand. I mean, who knows? He might be on his way to bigger and better things already. So you can definitely make an argument for Mustafa Ali. You could also make an argument for Buddy Murphy. But realistically, you got to go with the rowdy one when it comes to the breakout star of the year. Main event of the evening, our final award of the night. I'll get into that in a minute, but there are some other, notable categories that I personally want to address. And, NXT match of the year, you have to go with anything Gargano and Ciampa, although you could also make an argument for Andrade Cien Almas and Johnny Gargano in Philadelphia. That was one that really stood out to me. Ronda Rousey as the Rookie of the Year, Mauro Ranallo, our Announcer of the Year, Daniel Bryan, the Comeback Story of the Year, hands down. Feud of the Year, without a doubt, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. That was the Rivalry of the Year, hands down. The Moment of the Year, you have to go with Dean Ambrose's heel turn on Seth Rollins in Providence. I mean, on that emotional night, we'll never forget that. And those are some other notable, honors that I wanted to throw out there myself. But pay-per-view of the year, It can be from any promotion, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan. I know Didi's probably not going to be ready for that, so I'm gonna take the reins here. I mean, the New Japan Dominion event was unreal. That was off the hook. But I'm torn between two. I'm torn between Slammiversary from Impact Wrestling, because that was an unbelievable show, with their match of the year. Impact Wrestling's match of the year took place on that show. That hair match with Sami Callihan and Pentagon, that hair versus mask match, Sami Callihan and Pentagon Jr. From Impact. I mean, that was clearly their fight of the year, hands down. And you remember MF gave that rave reviews when we had that special moment on Ridiculously Raw back in the summer. But yeah, this is very tough. I mean, that was a standout for me. Other one was Evolution, the first ever all women's pay-per-view. I mean, that thing delivered in spades. I mean, you could also make an argument for Survivor Series. I mean, that was a great show as well. SummerSlam was a very good show as well. Money in the Bank was a very good show. Of course, anything from NXT, that all of that was just insane. For me, it's between three events. NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I felt New Orleans had the best TakeOver show of the year. Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view, and Slammiversary. Those, for me, those are the three that really did it for me. But I have to go by a smidge. I have to go with NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I mean, I felt that was the best event of the year. I mean, that inaugural North American Championship ladder match that had Mauro Ranallo losing his mind. I mean, that was an historic match, to say the least. Shayna Baszler, getting her moment in the sun, winning the NXT Women's Championship. Aleister Black winning the NXT Championship from Almas. But of course, Gargano and Ciampa stole the damn show. So it's very tough. But for me, if I have to say my pay-per-view / special event of the year, I would have to, by a smidge, go with NXT TakeOver New Orleans. That, to me, really stood out. But right behind, in no particular order, Slammiversary from Impact Wrestling and the first ever all-women's pay-per-view Evolution. Very tough, but I got to go with New Orleans. So MF, pay-per-view of the year from anywhere. Who gets your honor?
Wow, this is tough. No doubt about it. This is not an easy decision. You actually made some valid points here. I'm also going to go with NXT TakeOver New Orleans as well. I think it's more deserving. Obviously, New Japan Pro Wrestling had Dominion. I think for Ring of Honor that I do on my Mikey's Mindset, I could easily say the Best in the World show was unbelievable. I thought that show was amazing. For New Japan, obviously Dominion, Wrestle Kingdom definitely deserves some consideration, but I would go with Dominion for them. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, but no doubt about it. NXT TakeOver New Orleans, WrestleMania weekend absolutely blew it out of the box, man. And we knew that they were going to do it. It was an epic event, amazing night. There was really nothing else that you could add or say about it. So, no, without a doubt, NXT TakeOver New Orleans wins it in my vote. Didi Woodson, it's all yours, my love.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you guys on that because, you look at, since I haven't really seen any of the other promotions, because for one, Ohio doesn't really show much of the other promotions. I don't even think we have Ring of Honor and Alliance. New Japan, you get maybe an hour-long show, and I don't even know half the people on there. But, you watch between NXT and the main card, usually NXT comes out on top every time they have the double pay-per-view. So, and I already said earlier, that Gargano and Ciampa had one of the top matches. So yeah, I definitely could agree. NXT New Orleans being one of the best shows that I've seen to date right now. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I will toss it back to you, Anthony.
All right, and that will put the bow on our 2018 Wrestling Forum Awards show. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow night. Time to be determined, whatever time is good for MF, and we'll see what time is good for Bullock. I don't know, MF, what time is good for you for tomorrow night?
I could do 10, 10:30. That's either or.
Fair enough. I'm leaning towards 10 myself. So
yeah, that's fine.
All right. So and I'll relay that to Bullock, and hopefully that'll be good for him as well. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. we'll be back with you for a very special edition of College Football Thursday, if you will, as we are going to be previewing the New Year's Six bowl games. There will be no power poll. It will be all about the New Year's Six bowl game predictions. The Peach Bowl, Florida and Michigan. Our two college football playoff semifinal matchups, Notre Dame and Clemson, Alabama and Oklahoma. You also have Washington against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. I mean, you also have, I believe, LSU and UCF. I believe it's in the Fiesta Bowl. And then you got, I believe it's Texas and Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, who do we like in those matchups? We'll find out come tomorrow night at 10, right back here on the Tone 25. And then, of course, Friday night at 10:30, week 17 of NFL Friday. I mean, we're going to get in. We'll talk about all the games, but the only games we'll really go into detail on, of course, I'll still do my notes and all, but the ones we'll go into great detail, I should say, are the games that have the playoff implications. So, you know which games those are. We'll address that come Friday night. And that's it, because, we're pretty much going to be off for a week after that because of the New Year's holiday, we will not have Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll be back with both of those shows after the New Year. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our very special edition of College Football Thursday, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyo here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and in spirit the Phenom Michael Bullock, and DF from RI 401 Derek Ferrer. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Thursday. And until tomorrow night for our New Year's 6 preview edition of College Football Thursday, you've been watching this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, our 2018 Wrestling Forum Awards, right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, as I always say, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.